Good morning, everyone, and thank you sincerely for being here today. To the veterans, military families with us, to the organizers of this Memorial Day gathering, and to all those who came here to remember, thank you. Before I begin, I want to briefly mention that following a stroke, I sometimes experience roadblocks and lockups while speaking, especially on emotional subjects. So today, I'll be relying on my written remarks more than I once would have. But I believe it's the words being spoken, not the way they arrive, that truly matters. Thank you for your understanding. Memorial Day asks something important of us. It asks us to remember not only the names engraved on monuments and carved into stone, but the lives behind those names, the families, the sacrifice, the burdens carried home from war, and sometimes the battles that continued long after the uniform came off. A few months ago, I began speaking with Mr. Johnson about the Billings County Veterans Memorial in Medora and what that place means to our community. If you search online for the Billings County Veterans Memorial, very little comes up, and that surprised both of us. Because what stands there deserves to be remembered, honored, and shared. And that task takes on a sense of urgency as Medora prepares to receive unprecedented worldwide attention. Near the old courthouse stand humble granite slabs, each engraved with the names of Billings County men and women who served our nation in times of war and peace. Farmers, ranchers, mechanics, roughnecks, teachers, sons, daughters, husbands, wives, ordinary people who answered an extraordinary call. Every one of those names represents a story. And right there, at the very top dead center of that memorial, are two names that are very personal to me. William Palanuk, my father, along with his father and my grandfather, James Palanuk. Each time I stand before that memorial, I feel pride. Pride in service, pride in sacrifice, pride in generations who answered when America called. And the memorial was dedicated on my father's birthday. He served during World War II. He was a radio operator with 19 jumps to his name. He spoke about his military service with great pride throughout his life. But the truth is, my father and I struggled deeply with one another. We never seemed to be able to understand each other. There was anger and rage in our home, and as a young man, I carried emotional wounds and mental health struggles that I didn't understand. As I grew older, I came to learn that some of that pain inside our home may have been pain my father and his father carried back from military service. Looking back now, I sometimes wonder how much of that pain began long before I was born, how much of it may have followed them home from war. I sometimes believe that a veteran's wounds, even the invisible ones, can reach far beyond the battlefield, touching spouses, children, and generations that follow. At 17 years old, during a period of profound emotional and mental turmoil, I committed an act of violence against my father that changed both our lives forever. And I carry that responsibility every single day. When I visit my father's grave, I live with the knowledge of the pain and damage that I caused him. I live with that knowledge every day of my life. And yet somehow, through a grace I still struggle to fully understand, my father helped give me another chance at life. I was a frightened and deeply troubled young man, placed into a system that did not fully understand trauma, mental illness, or how to help somebody like me. In many ways, I spent the next 50 years trying to understand what happened to my life, my family, and my own mind. Over time, I came to understand something important. Trauma changes people. Whether that trauma comes from violence in a home or violence on a battlefield, human beings carry wounds long after visible scars disappear. Some veterans return home carrying memories no human being should ever have to carry. Memories of war, loss, fear, isolation. Some carry those burdens silently for decades. Some remember being in foreign lands, fighting enemies they could not see, then returning home 2 days later, only to be spat upon and rejected by fellow Americans. Others stood at places like Pearl Harbor, hearing the tap, tap, tapping of trapped sailors beneath overturned steel hulls, knowing those men would never see daylight again. Many veterans came home physically alive, while parts of them remain forever on distant battlefields. Memorial Day is about those who never had the opportunity to grow older, to heal, to marry, to raise families, or come home at all. Some were 18, 19, 20 years old, young men who just months earlier may have been sitting in a classroom, working on a farm, fixing cars in a small town garage, or dancing on Saturday nights with dreams about the future. Many never lived long enough to discover who they fully would have become. They handed over every remaining birthday, every future child, every sunrise they would never see again, in service to something greater than themselves. Some died in places far from home, frightened and exhausted, surrounded by explosions, smoke, mud, steel, fear. Some died instantly. Others died calling out for the men beside them or their loved ones. While history often remembers wars through maps, victories, and dates, Memorial Day reminds us that every cross in a cemetery, every folded flag, every name carved into stone once belonged to a living human being deeply loved by someone waiting for them to come home. Because of them, generations they would never meet were allowed to live free. And today, we honor them all. Not only for the battles they fought overseas, but the battles many continued fighting here at home. Some time ago, I came across a simple question that changed my life. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with you?" perhaps we should ask, "What happened to you?" That question changed how I saw myself, and it changed how I see others. There is no single solution for mental health struggles. Healing is different for every person. But I believe empathy matters, compassion matters, forgiveness matters. I have forgiven myself. I have asked my Father for His forgiveness. And through all of this, I came to believe that 7 words matter greatly in my life in this order: God, love, forgiveness, gratitude, serenity, courage, and wisdom. The last 3 help me hold on to the first 4. I pray for these things daily. And somehow, slowly, these prayers are being answered as my life has come full circle in ways I could have never imagined. I was born at St. Joseph's Hospital in Dickinson. Later, I was arrested there. In 2025, after suffering a stroke, the folks at what is now CHI, St. Alexius Health Dickinson, helped put me back together again. Places that once represented pain and shame in my life somehow became places of healing, reflection, and grace. The ward for the criminally insane at the State Hospital in Jamestown, CHI St. Alexius, the old courthouse in Medora, where I faced an uncertain future as my fate was being determined only a few feet from what is now the Billings County Veterans Memorial. I now stand there with pride as I see the names of the men whose names I continue to carry. Life can change. People can change. Grace can change people. If I have any advice to offer today, it is something many of you already know. Please, please tell your children they are so loved. Those words matter more than we sometimes realize. They can shape a life. And if we fail to say them, pain can continue to move through generations and terrible things can happen. In conclusion, today, Memorial Day 2026, 5 days before what would have been my father's 100th birthday, I stand before you not as a perfect man, but an honest one. There are people in this room today who help give me the strength and courage to speak these words publicly for the very first time. To all of you, I thank you with everything that I am, everything that I have, and everything that I will ever be. For most of my life, I felt like every room I ever entered contained an elephant nobody spoke about. Today, because of your kindness and your willingness to listen, perhaps we have finally opened that door and set that elephant free. Thank you.